So the next few videos that I'm going to be shooting, maybe like 6 to 8 videos, will be shorter videos, but they'll all be videos based on some life lessons I've learned about how to read the Bible. I've heard from a few different types of people, pastors, friends, um, other people I've seen on YouTube doing commentaries and from rabbis for the like from 2009 to I'd say 2015. I was part of a messianic Jewish community where I had learned a lot of different perspectives that I'd never heard of when I was a Christian, um, on how to study the culture that Christianity is branched into. Um, just a lot of different paradigms on how to look at life and how what the Bible and what Christianity and Judaism is about. So I learned a lot from them, and so part of why I'm doing these videos, and specifically these next 6 to 8 videos, will be just life lessons I've learned on how to study the Bible and how to think in a different way when studying the Bible. Also including things like how to hear God's voice when studying the Bible. And so this video will be focused more on thinking about what kind of book the Bible is. And by that, I mean, when you go and read a book, you don't read all books the same way. And what I mean by that is if you have a comic book versus a dictionary, you don't read a comic book the way you read a dictionary. And when you have a dictionary versus a novel, a fictional novel, you don't read those two books the same way. If you read a history book and a math book, you don't read those the same way. If you read like a Chilton or a Haynes car repair book, you definitely don't read that the same way you would read a comic book. And so these are all different kinds of books. Some are reference books, some are novels, fiction or nonfiction. Some are guidebooks, and some are just for humor or just fantasy, like fiction books. So, yeah, you don't read them all the same. And I think with that kind of perspective, someone shared this way of thinking with me years ago that how am I reading the Bible? Am I reading it like a science book? Because I don't think it's a science book. Yes, there's science in it. Yes, there's history in it. Yes, there is stories in the Bible. Um, but I don't think it's a storybook, although there are stories. I don't think it's a just a history book per se, even though there's history. I don't think it's a poetic book, even though there are books of poetry like Psalms and Proverbs and the Song of Solomon. Um, if I was to wrap this up and kind of describe in one word what kind of book the Bible is, I would say it's a guidebook. And the best way I could describe it to someone who has never read it is you think that this is the book, picture it as if the author, who is God, he's a king, right? And kings have a kingdom. And in order for a king to rule his kingdom, he needs to have these laws set in order, this definition of culture, the definition of their language, of how they eat in that kingdom. It's describing pretty much the culture of the king, the articulation of the king's heart written into law, like a code of conduct per se, for his uh his citizens to conduct themselves. Um, if they're going to be happy or make the king happy in his kingdom. It's things that the king writes down that makes him unhappy as well. So it's knowing what makes him happy and unhappy, what pleases or displeases the heart of the king. It's a guidebook on how you conduct yourself. So it's a code of conduct for the citizens within that kingdom. And that's the best way I can put it. So if you think about it, the Bible, if I was going to sum up what is the Bible as far as what I understand from my life, I would say it's a one-way conversation. It's a one-way, pretty much every book is a one-way conversation. It's a conversation of the author to its reader so that the reader can understand what the author is trying to say. And so the Bible in the same paradigm would be God, the author, writing down and speaking to his reader. So if I was to sum up what the Bible is, it's listening. It's my I guess definition of what am I doing when I'm reading the Bible? What am I doing when I'm studying the Bible? I'm listening to God. And if some people have asked me through life, how do I hear God's voice? How do I listen? I would say the clearest way to hear God's voice is to actually read the Bible, read His Word, read His heart. And I think that's in line with what Jeremiah was saying when he was saying that the new covenant is a covenant that is not written on stone, it's written on the hearts of men. It's written on the hearts of his people. That it's no longer something that Moses takes down from the Mount of Sinai on 2 tablets of stone. He's actually written it upon our hearts. We understand the heart of the king. We have a heart after the king's heart. And we get that heart by listening through his word. So, yeah, it's a guidebook for our heart. That's what I would say. And when we read it, that's actually listening to what the author has to say. And that's it. Short video. Have a good week. And again, the next videos will be similar type of topics, but different paradigms on studying the Bible. Bye.